Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. All right, so now we got to talk about R&Bieber.
Right, R&Bieber. We only have a couple
Bieber.
minutes, so let's wrap that part up
So
quick.
Justin Bieber, this is our weekly news bite. So Justin Bieber recently filed a application for
I think a trademark application.
federal trademark
for R&Bieber.
for the phrase R&Bieber, and that's like a play on
R, ampersand,
Rhythm
capital
Blues.
B, Bieber, right?
Bieber.
Yeah.
R&Bieber, and I sent you this article, and it's about some of the business decisions that he was clearly laying the groundwork for this around this
So
trademark.
the question is, can he get R&Bieber as a trademark?
Yeah, I thought this would be a good way to talk just a little bit about what is a trademark and what you can get a trademark on, and how you would classify this under the different trademarks.
So when you sent me that article, I quickly skimmed it, and I was just thinking to myself,
this is becoming a recurring thing.
I know. I always have.
Quickly skimmed it.
My intention is to read it thoroughly, like the day before.
Yeah, it was a thin article.
I know, but still, I always want to read it in advance, and I never get to because we're so busy, right? But I did quickly skim it, and I was thinking, if somebody came to me and said, "Can I get R&Bieber as a trademark?" what would I ask them, right? What are the questions that should come to mind?
Yeah.
Well, so first you want to find out if it's attached to a product or service.
Sure.
Because trademarks only exist to be attached to products and services, right?
Right.
I mean, trademarks and products and services are tighter than peanut butter and jelly, right? Because you could have a peanut butter sandwich or a jelly sandwich, whoever would want that, I don't know. But yeah, peanut butter and jelly together are better, but you can have them separately.
Now I'm thinking peanut Bieber and jelly.
That could be good too. But anyway, the point is you cannot have a trademark without a product or service that it's attached to. So unlike peanut butter and jelly, which can be eaten apart, you cannot have a trademark without a product or service that it's attached to. They live because of products and services, right?
Okay.
So the first question I'd say is, what's your product and service? What's your product and service?
Yeah, well, it sounds like
let's say it's merchandise.
Right. And
right?
It sounds like he's gonna do an album called.
But that could be a title of an album, but it's got to have a product or service.
But is that a trademark? Is the album, would that be considered the product?
It's kind of like maybe that's the approach, is that they're going to have a group of musical. I don't know. That's a good question, and I would probably want to get one of my high-powered trademark attorneys at the Colson Law Group to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
However, I know this much about trademarks, so. What I'd say is, what is your product service? So if you're saying to me, my product is my album, I'd have to think about, is it an album title, which isn't a trademark, or is the product the album? I don't know. I have to think about that.
Interesting.
But
you were saying
you got to have a product or service, right?
It could be merchandise.
Merchandise. Let's say he wants it on merchandise. R&Bieber merchandise, shirts, okay? Mm-hmm. So now we have a product, right?
Could it be several products?
Hey, you can have a trademark on multiple products. Yes. You have to get a different trademark for each of those products, but yes, you could have it. The Ford company has a whole bunch of products with the Ford name on it, but as trademarks. But anyway, the second question I'd ask is does it have inherent distinctiveness, right? And there's basically four categories of distinctiveness. One is called the strongest category, and basically that means, is it the kind of thing that people would automatically associate with a product or service and the source of that product or service?
Yeah.
Or would it be confusing because it's more descriptive of just any old product or service, right?
Right.
So the four categories are essentially fanciful. That's not even really a word. The two that come to mind for me are like Kodak, which is like Kodak, just a made up word, right? Those are the strongest trademarks because they're very distinctive, right? I mean, they're not used for anything else. They're made up.
Yeah.
Right? The second strongest category of distinctiveness is called arbitrary, like Apple for computers.
Apples have nothing to do with computers.
Right, exactly. So that's really strong, right? The next is something called suggestive, right? And now we're starting to get close to the line where it's not distinctive at all. Suggestive is distinctive, it's just not as strong. And a suggestive mark might be like the Roach Motel, right? It might take you a few guesses. That might be descriptive, but it might take you a few guesses to figure out what it is. Maybe not, because everybody probably knows the Roach Motel is like a trap for roaches to kill them.
Right.
So that's probably descriptive. But things that take a little bit of creativity a couple of guesses maybe before you get it.
Sure.
You wouldn't get it right away.
Right.
Like if I said that I have a gutter cleaning service is the name of my trademark. Gutter cleaners. Do you have to guess what that is?
No.
Right, it's gutter cleaners, right? That would be descriptive. That's the fourth layer of distinctiveness, and that's not
Right.
distinctive, right?
Right.
Actually, technically there's a fifth layer, which is generic. But, so it's fanciful,
You
arbitrary.
can't trademark it if it's generic.
No, right, but you might have been trademarked at one time. But here's what I mean. Fanciful, arbitrary, suggestive. Now we're getting close to the line, right? Descriptive. You really can't get distinctiveness, or you can't get a trademark on a descriptive mark unless, after a whole bunch of years in the marketplace, everybody starts to recognize you as that descriptive mark. Then you can get it. It goes on something called the secondary register. So you can ultimately earn trademark significance, right?
Okay.
But it's not normal, natural to get it there. Then there's generic, which is like, things that used to be really strong trademarks, but have been so powerful that they've turned into generic marks, which companies are going to have a hard time with. Like Xerox had a hard time with their mark because people would use it as a verb and say, "Can you Xerox me this?"
Right.
Or I want to go Google something.
Right.
Or I want to go rollerblading. Rollerblading is actually a trademark. It's inline skating, not rollerblading, right? They become, and by the way, rollerblading is still a perfectly good mark. Remember that funny video that we saw for Velcro?
Yeah, Velcro.
Velcro.
Don't say Velcro.
Yeah, exactly. Don't say it's
It's
hook and loop. Exactly, it's hook and loop. We learned that because we watched this really funny video made by Velcro to say,
grippy grass.
stop. Yeah,
That was
right.
my
Grippy
favorite
grass.
one,
Yeah.
grippy grass.
Stop saying Velcro as a noun or a verb, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so now go to R&Bieber. Go back to him because we're running out of time.
So
is it, first of all, is it on a product or service? Let's say it's merchandise, because I don't know, as I sit here, again, I'm not the trademark guru. I know just enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
But is an album cover called R&Bieber, is the album title,
it sounds descriptive to me.
R&Bieber? It's
Right,
an R&B
because-
music
yeah,
about
because
Bieber.
it's R&B music.
I like it.
And he's Justin Bieber, so
It could be descriptive,
right.
right? Could be.
I mean, it's a little bit of a play, but
But if anybody said, "Hey, I've got so let's say it's his brand of music. He's come up with his own brand of music, and that's what his product or service
now
is, right?
that would be a really hard claim.
Right, but
Is
I've
there
never
really anything new under the?
Okay, let me just say, first, I've never listened to a Justin Bieber song in my life. So
You've not lived.
I've not lived, I'm sure I haven't. But anyway, neither do my kids though. So maybe their generation
Actually, barely have.
my
listened
kids
to
are
it.
19 and 20. Maybe the Bieber came along before my kids and after me. But
Sure.
Whatever, and that's
I'll send you.
That's
I'll
a
send
big.
you a couple of my favorites.
Okay, you got it. But anyway, so I like the way you're already thinking like a lawyer. Let's say it is a product or service it's attached to. Is it descriptive? And you said R&Bieber is descriptive. Maybe it's suggestive, right? But if it's for his music brand again, I'm out of my element by talking about trademarking of an album title.
Sure.
But let's say it's about like his product is somehow this brand of music and it's called R&Bieber. It's pretty obvious that it's in the R&B area and it's by Bieber, right?
That's what I think.
Maybe it's descriptive.
Yeah.
Right? So now there is also something about trademark law where you can always use your own name, but I'm not sure you can get protection on your name. So you can use it even if someone else has protection, but it doesn't mean you can get protection.
Right.
So R&Bieber, I like the way you've been thinking about it. If we assume that it is attached to a product and service, is it fanciful, arbitrary, suggestive, maybe, descriptive, maybe, certainly not generic yet, right? So yeah, I like the way you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know the answer.
It's interesting. So inconclusive on R&Bieber, but we'll have to follow this one and see what happens.
Absolutely.
All right. See you next week.
You got it.